Hello and welcome to HONOO Pro Wrestling live from Osaka, Japan. I'm your host, Brick 9mm, and my broadcast partner is currently homesick. Yes, he's sick, Bushido. He's pushing through that sickness like the Bushido warrior he is. I'm sure he will enjoy the show tonight from home. Now, we are about to witness Danny Thorpe, the hybrid fighter, take on Wild Mike in a special exhibition matchup, as Azumi Takahashi, Danny Thorpe's scheduled last opponent, was injured in her match with Ricky Backdrop. Thus, Danny Thorpe has won and progressed to the Block B semifinals by default. Now, Wild Mike, he really has to watch out, Danny Thorpe does. He really has to watch out for Wild Mike, the star of HONOO Afterburn, the Sunday program, exclusively on YouTube, where Wild Mike just dominates. He wins every single match he's ever had there, in flawless execution, showing off all of his great holds. Great holds we will see here tonight, I'm sure. Danny Thorpe may have that perfect 5-win streak in the HONOO GP, but Wild Mike is something else. But Danny Thorpe whips out that shining cross arm breaker, that triangle cross arm breaker. But Wild Mike with that expertly applied sleeper hold, trying to cut off the air, but Danny Thorpe just does not stand for that. See, but that's not saying Wild Mike isn't one of the best at what he does. Danny Thorpe is just that good. He's just that skillful. He's just the man who could take this entire GP and win the HONOO World Heavyweight Championship. Meanwhile, after Wild Mike destroys Danny Thorpe in this match, which I'm sure he will, look at him, he's Wild Mike, the innovator of frozen pizza. Just look at that hair. So after he decimates Danny Thorpe, he will hold an open challenge on this Sunday's episode of HONOO Afterburn. Both competitors are very equal so far, but Wild Mike seeks to change that with a devastating palm strike rush. Danny Thorpe counters, but Wild Mike, the hold is locked in. The ankle lock for just a second, but not the real ankle lock, but an ankle lock nonetheless. Danny Thorpe tries to lock that in as the bell rings, signaling the start of round 2. Wild Mike is going wild with that headlock, that expertly applied headlock, but Danny Thorpe is just that good, but Wild Mike pops Thorpe right in the face, but Thorpe just counters that devastating rush on the mat. Thorpe with the guillotine necklock. Wild Mike barely manages to get out of that. Will Thorpe prove himself as 6-0 in HONOO Pro Wrestling? Could that necklock get any tighter? The guillotine is just one of the greatest holds, but Wild Mike's back roll necklock is even greater. Of course, Thorpe is not a one-trick pony, as he demonstrates with his arm, with his leg work as well. Thorpe is trying to get the upper hand here, but Wild Mike is not even showing more than 1% of his power. Thorpe just hammering away at Wild Mike on the mat. That strike rush could be it.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Wild Mike manages to get to his feet. Wild Mike with the back roll necklock. He's just doesn't seem like he's gotten enough damage on Thorpe, whereas Thorpe just fires away with strike after strike after strike. Mike needs to get more defensive here if he wants to survive, but Thorpe is just not going to let that happen. Thorpe has defeated the legendary Wild Mike in this opener for HONOO in Osaka, the final day of the opening stage before we head to the semifinals. Welcome back to HONOO Pro Wrestling live from Osaka, Japan, as The Wall gets ready to take on Mason Markham in this Block A matchup. Now, The Wall was a very hot prospect. We thought he could take this entire thing, but here he is on the last night of the group stage of the HONOO GP with one victory. Meanwhile, he is facing Mason Markham, who has 0 victories under his belt. Neither man progressing to the semifinals is impossible for either man. However, this could be their last chance to just show that they're capable of better. You know, The Wall Jr. We thought he was destined for great things, but here he is, one victory, very end of the line. Whereas Mason Markham, he needs that money that you get from winning matches. He needs that money to buy a gi that fits him, because he can get a gi that fits him that could unlock his potential. Wall Jr. Despite the Wall Jr.'s underperformance, he is still not to be underestimated because he is very skilled in boxing. He's a former boxer. That is the advantage he has over most of the hybrid fighters. Is his striking ability is trained. You know, hybrid fighters average, you know, they're just supposed to be average, but they do a little bit of everything. Just The Wall's problem is he has not figured out a way to work in that striking experience adequate into his offense. He prefers to go for power, that devastating power bomb he's known for, and the spears. He doesn't know where the money is in his fists, so he's gotta change his approach. Meanwhile, this match so far, Mason Markham, looks like Mason Markham took a spear this early on. Almost another one, but his fat got in the way. But The Wall, Markham counters. The Wall, arm lock, locked in, but not quite tight enough. The Wall is desperate to prove himself, to raise his status at this point. He will not lose to Mason Markham. Just the anger behind those uppercuts that you can see clear as day. We're not the only ones disappointed here. The Wall has an uphill battle ahead of him. He could climb that wall with drop kicks like that. We rarely see such a thing in HONOO, especially from a guy that big. How did Mason Markham take that and proceed to try and snap The Wall's neck? The Wall with a devastating, burning lariat, locking in the leg, but The Wall's limb work is not focused. It's not focused whatsoever. He has to change that. Either that or he can just keep shaking it up, keeping Mason Markham on his toes. But Markham's got The Wall down on the mat. The Wall counters with another leg lock. Being a little defensive here, I would too. The Mason Markham, the palm strike rushes. The Wall pins Markham down, gets ready for the power bomb.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Markham gets up at the 8 count, just in the nick of time. But The Wall will not rest. Blocks in that cross arm breaker, getting the tap out victory. The Wall closes out his run in the HONOO GP with 2 wins. There's Mason Markham, 0 wins, 5 losses the entire time. The Wall has a rose-colored career ahead of him yet, it seems. Welcome back to HONOO Pro Wrestling, live in Osaka with another Block B matchup as Xemyr LeBay, yes you heard that right, Xemyr is here, but not that one, versus Ricky Backdrop. Xemyr, one win the entire time. This could be his chance to just recover a little of his status, whereas Ricky Backdrop has 3 wins and is almost certainly going to appear in the Block B semi-finals. Of course, this is a way for Ricky Backdrop to make a big statement on his way to the goal. Now, Ricky Backdrop has a history of decimating karatekas, because he just injured Azumi Takahashi. Now, it was not necessarily his fault. It was just a history. Neck damage just built up. However, Ricky Backdrop, out of any wrestler, has the inherent advantage over karatekas because he does not have to do nearly as much work to hit those deadly backdrops, those deadly suplexes, just like that, because the karateka takes damage. That's their entire deal. They take damage and they recover from it, because if they don't take damage, there's nothing to recover from. Of course, Ricky Backdrop, his damage output is just overwhelming. No one can take that many bumps on their head and still recover from it, as Ricky Backdrop just hammers away from Oklahoma Stampedes, just crushing Xemyr's skull beneath his boot. Xemyr has to be more defensive, or else he is playing Russian roulette, trying to see if his comeback can still trigger. He can even be conscious enough to trigger a comeback. Ricky Backdrop, with every single impact move Ricky Backdrop lands on Xemyr, his chances of coming back just grow closer and closer to 0. Backdrop trying to take Xemyr down to the mat. He was not successful, but he was successful, hitting that devastating backdrop and a belly-to-back suplex. Will he hit another? He will! The move that injured Azumi Takahashi. This match is practically over for Xemyr LeBay, as just taking a devastating head drop. I will be absolutely shocked if he can get up from this, and he does. Xemyr LeBay gets up at the 6 count. But Ricky Backdrop, no, Xemyr rejects it. Xemyr will not take backdrops anymore. It is time for the comeback, but maybe, just maybe it's too late, but maybe, just maybe it isn't. But Backdrop just pounding, lifting him, and pounding him down on the mat. Backdrop relentless in that assault. Xemyr, will Xemyr fall just on the cusp of his comeback?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Xemyr falls to Ricky Backdrop. Ricky Backdrop has made his way to the semi-final and will take on Danny Thorpe. Welcome back to HONOO Pro Wrestling. We have another A block matchup, Tyson Apollo versus Saint Anger. It's boxer versus kickboxer, two pure striker classes. Now, Tyson Apollo has an impressive 2-win record thus far. Saint Anger has 1. Saint Anger round my neck. He never gets respect, but will he prove that he deserves respect here tonight on HONOO Pro, the last night of the HONOO GP? Well, neither man has a chance of taking the gold at this point. This is a good final opportunity to impress the audience, all you spectators watching at home. Saint Anger with a devastating barrage of strikes followed by a thrust kick. Saint Anger is looking to get the leg up on Tyson Apollo. Now, Tyson Apollo is a skilled boxer. He just came from out of nowhere, it seems, with a few impressive wins over opponents such as The Wall. In fact, it seems that The Wall's loss to Tyson Apollo was the start of The Wall's downfall. But Saint Anger is just pounding away, just outclassing Tyson Apollo here, but Tyson Apollo with a desperate headbutt. Of course, both fighters show skillful footwork as is required for striker classes such as these. Apollo keeps blocking those thrust kicks, but every once in a while, one just gets through his defense. Those are devastating. Apollo firing away, body blow after body blow. And a bit of an exchange of strikes here. Who will come out on top? And it is Tyson Apollo. Tyson Apollo comes out on top. Tyson Apollo is making his comeback here, going for the kill, aiming for the kill against Saint Anger with desperate moves such as that headbutt. Just going for those really big strikes, but when you go for those really big strikes, you just leave yourself wide open. Saint Anger with a soccer ball kick to the back of Tyson Apollo's head. Tyson Apollo with a tackle, but nothing comes of it. Tyson Apollo is on thin ice here tonight as Saint Anger, on their way out of the HONOO GP, seeks to prove themselves one last time. And Tyson Apollo just keeps going for those big strikes, leaving himself susceptible to that devastating offense of Saint Anger, like that jumping knee drop. Saint Anger looks to end it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tyson Apollo gets back up to his feet at the 5 count and fires away with a barrage of short uppercuts, but Saint Anger with that devastating thrust kick. Apollo has to be rattled here. But Apollo with that body blow, knocking Saint Anger clean out. Apollo, his run in the HONOO GP finishes out with 3 wins, 2 losses. A very impressive run indeed, even if he failed to make his way to the semifinals. Welcome back to HONOO Pro Wrestling, as it is now time for the final B block matchup of the group stage as Makenzie O'Rourke, the boxer, takes on Killbo, the kickboxing clown. Now, this is a very interesting dynamic here, as Makenzie O'Rourke is very well known for her fast strikes. She just rushes every opponent she faces. Just rushes them. Strike after strike after strike. Meanwhile, Killbo is a strangely methodical fellow. In fact, he has had draws before in HONOO Pro Wrestling. Draws are almost unheard of in a sport like this, but here Killbo is. It's a very interesting dynamic. Makenzie O'Rourke will absolutely not let Killbo the Clown drag this match out, but will Makenzie's burning spirit just drag something out of Killbo, drag something out we've never seen before? This may not be as high stakes as the match we are about to see, Richard versus Davey English, the main event of the HONOO Revival in Osaka, but this is still an interesting matchup indeed. As Killbo keeps aiming for those devastating low kicks. Makenzie seems to be a lot more skilled with her fists than Killbo is with his kicks, but Killbo has those unnaturally large feet he was born with to deal with. Those just give him loads of reach that Makenzie wishes she had reach that makes all of the difference. Killbo coming back in a big way with strike after strike. Of course, don't call it a comeback just yet, as Makenzie is getting significantly more offense in on Killbo the Clown. A bit of strike exchange. Who will come out on top? Makenzie knocks Killbo over at the expense of falling to the mat herself. It seems that both competitors are evenly matched. It may not have seemed that way from the gates, but it's definitely the case. Even though Killbo's strikes, his fierce low kick, tends to miss the mark, whereas Makenzie's quick strikes, they may miss the mark sometimes too, but they're much faster. They don't leave her wide open like Killbo's fierce low kicks did. Makenzie with that elbow goes for her signature jumping punch from the ropes just as the round closes. Round 2. It is very unlikely that either of these competitors will make it to round 3. As Killbo with a devastating strike rush right there. But Makenzie fires back with one of her own. But Killbo with that massive kick to the head. And another one. Makenzie's gotta be rattled. Can she even get up?
4, 5, 6.
Makenzie gets up at the 6 count. Makenzie with the knockout punch, but did it achieve the knockout?
4, 5, 6.
Killbo gets up the 6 count as well. And another strike exchange here midway through the second round. Killbo with another devastating high kick and some taunting there. I don't know what his point there was, but that may have sealed his fate, just angering Makenzie. But Killbo, no, he gets up again, knocks Makenzie down again. They're 2 for 2. The next fall for either competitor will end this match. Each competitor has to be careful to not stay down on that mat for too long, but Killbo seals Makenzie's fate right there, ending the HONOO GP. 3 wins, 2 losses. Very impressive run indeed, and Killbo seems destined for great things here at HONOO Pro Wrestling. Now time for our HONOO Pro Wrestling main event, perhaps the prelude to the most important match in HONOO Pro Wrestling history, as Richard Richards and Davey English versus, yes, that match is a lock for the Block A semifinals. One of these men will compete in the finals of the HONOO GP for the HONOO World's Heavyweight Championship. One of these men will go all the way, potentially. So this is just the demonstration. Both men have this opportunity to prove themselves, to intimidate their opponent in the most glorious fashion possible with their fists, with their kicks, with their holds. Especially holds and suplexes in the case of the wrestler Davey English. So Richard Richards and Davey English, both 4 wins, 0 losses, both men, heading to the semifinals. Who will win this prelude matchup? Meanwhile, on the other side, on Block B, Danny Thorpe versus Ricky Backdrop is a lock as well, after the events of tonight. We could potentially see hybrid fighter versus hybrid fighter, hybrid fighter versus wrestler, wrestler versus wrestler. Both men are being very defensive, as they should be. They will be fighting each other once more in the semifinals not too long from now. Next week, in fact. So really, they can't afford to get injured. They can't afford to go all out here. Of course, with fighters like these, they just force the best out of each other. Davey English with a great takedown, but Richard Richards does not stay down. Richard Richards is firing away strike after strike. Davey English has failed to get Richards on the mat, but once he does, this could be over. Davey English with that torture headlock, just cranking away. Now Richard Richards has that striking advantage here, but Davey English, he has ended so many matches with those suplexes that just seemingly come out of nowhere. No wrestler in HONOO Pro Wrestling is that great at pulling off suplexes like Davey English, but some mat work. Davey English armbar, just at the very last second of round 1, heading into round 2. This match has shifted into high gear already, as Davey English with that belly-to-belly suplex. Davey English tackles Richard Richards. Richard Richards counters on the back, but Davey English slams Richard Richards down. Richard Richards into that devastating strike rush, but only for a second. That skillful mat work, that reversal from Richard Richards, but Richards just absorbs, dropped on his head for that belly-to-back suplex. Davey English, that buffalo sleeper hold. Davey English has shifted into high gear and is firing on all cylinders, just hold after hold. Pinned down on the mat with another arm lock, but Richard Richards is not to be underestimated. Richard Richards takes that Uranage.
1, 2, 3.
Richard Richards pops to his feet at the 3 count, but Davey English with that devastating suplex.
2, 3,
Richard Richards, can he get up?
6,
Will he get up?
8, 9.
Richard Richards gets up at the 9 count. The last fall is Richard Richards' the last fall. Davey English has sent a clear message, loud and clear. Just gets down on that. They're still going. What the hell? Richard Richards with one last gasp of air. These men will face each other once more in 1 week's time in the HONOO GP A Block semifinals. One man will progress to the finals of the HONOO GP at the HONOO Revival in Kyoto. But this was an excellent victory for Davey English that sent a clear message to Richard Richards. And then Richard showed Davey English that he was not out. He was just the rule set. Just a victim of that. Davey English's suplexes are just that good. And Richard Richards, with every strike after the bell had already rang, just sent a very clear message. Their rematch will be perhaps the most exciting match in HONOO history thus far. Thank you for watching the HONOO Revival in Osaka, the last night of the HONOO GP Group Stage. Good night.